In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, a memorial service was held for Party General Secretary Nguyen Trong. And Vietnam unveils new method in locating and collecting martyrs' remains. In our world news, Russia and China agree to step up cooperation for ASEAN stability and prosperity.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Nguyen with the top stories. A memorial ceremony was held at 1 p.m. on July 26 for General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam CPV Central Committee, Nguyen Trong. The ceremony was conducted simultaneously at the National Funeral Hall in Hanoi, the Thống Nhất Hall in Ho Chi Minh City, and the late leader's hometown in Đồng Hới Commune of Hanoi's Đông Anh District by the CPV Central Committee, the National Assembly, the State President, the government, the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee, and the late General Secretary's family.
Reading the eulogy, Politburo member and State President To Lâm, head of the funeral board, said the General Secretary's passing is a huge and irreparable loss to the party, nation, and people. The country has lost a talented leader. The world communist and progressive movements have lost a sharp theorist. International friends have lost a sincere friend and a close comrade, and his family, clan, and hometown of Đông Hội have lost an eminent son.
After nearly 60 years of revolutionary work, Professor, Doctor, and General Secretary Nguyen Trong has left a valuable legacy of theories on Vietnam's revolutionary path in the new era for the entire party, army, and people, persistently and creatively applying Marxism and Leninism and Ho Chi Minh's ideology with the goal of national independence and socialism. He clarified the theory of socialism, the path towards socialism in Vietnam, the role of the Communist Party of Vietnam, and the socialist-oriented market economy.
With his strategic vision of the current world situation and unceasing efforts to contribute to maintaining a peaceful and stable environment in the region and the world, he opened up a new chapter in the relations between Vietnam and international partners. He boosted the country's friendship with other countries.
The leader was highly devoted and made important contributions to building and developing an advanced Vietnamese culture imbued with national identity. This gave society a truly spiritual foundation, an instinctive strength, and important momentum for national development.
With a profound and sharp political viewpoint, he brought into play the pioneering role of comprehensive diplomacy, forming and leading the efficient implementation of the new era art of diplomacy deeply imbued with Vietnamese bamboo characteristics. General Secretary Nguyen Trong relentlessly devoted himself to the revolutionary cause of the party and nation with the steel-like spirit and will, worked till his last breath, and made wholehearted and all-out dedications to the party, the country, and the people, demonstrating a great figure living his life to the fullest for the country, the party, and the people. The burial ceremony for the Party General Secretary took place at 3 p.m. at the Mai Dịch Cemetery in Hanoi.
The burial service for the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee Nguyễn Phú Trọng was attended by Politburo members, State President Tô Lâm, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn, and permanent member of the Party Central Committee's Secretariat Lương Cường, and Secretary of the Party Central Committee and President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee Đỗ Văn Chiến. Also in attendance were former leaders.
The hearse carrying the flag-draped coffin departed the National Funeral Home and made its way to the Party General Secretary's final resting place, the Mai Dịch Cemetery. After the honor guard conducted the burial ceremony, leaders and former leaders of the party, state, and Vietnam Fatherland Front, comrades, the public, international friends, and the family laid flowers and bid farewell to the party general secretary as he was laid to rest. Throughout his nearly 60 years of diverse, unwavering revolutionary work, Professor, Doctor, and General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, with his wide and keen intellect, left a valuable legacy of ideology and theory on Vietnam's revolutionary path in the new era for the entire party, army, and people. With his strategic vision of the current world situation and unceasing efforts to contribute to maintaining a peaceful and stable environment in the region and the world, he opened up a new chapter in the relations between the country and international partners and boosted the friendship between Vietnam and other countries. He was known for his motto, "Honor is the top among the sacred and noble." He worked to build a purer and stronger party to lead the country and nation in successfully implementing the renewal policy. Under his leadership, for the first time, the party issued a thematic resolution on building and perfecting the socialist rule of law state of the people, by the people, and for the people. He is truly an outstanding and brilliant example of pure revolutionary mettle and ethics, public spiritedness and selflessness, a simple, upright, and sincere lifestyle, a democratic, dedicated, scientific, close to reality, and working style that contains consistency between words and actions, along with respect for and love of the people.
Now, on the afternoon of July 26, thousands of people withstood the heat in Hanoi streets to pay respect as the funeral cortege carried the casket of Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng passed by.
People lined the major streets of the funeral procession route to pay their last respects to the party leader. Many of the mourners traveled 400 kilometers from Hà Tĩnh province to Hanoi to catch a glimpse of the leader's flag-draped coffin as it traveled by hearse to his final resting place.
We feel very moved. The party general secretary dedicated his whole life for the country and the people. People in other countries also looked up to him.
Despite the hot weather, more and more people poured into the streets. There were children, young people, mothers, retirees, veterans, cadres, and workers. Many people carried pictures of the party general secretary.
He has done many good things for the people. He is very loving.
A family of 5 from Bến Tre province traveled more than 1,000 kilometers to arrive in time to bid farewell to the General Secretary.
The people of the South respect him very much. I hope he rests in peace and the younger generation will continue his legacy.
The commander-in-chief of the people's hearts remains in the deep love and gratitude of the Vietnamese people. He will be remembered as the General Secretary of both talent and virtue, who spent his whole life serving the fatherland and the people.
The respect-paying ceremony for Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng continued on July 26 at the National Funeral Hall in Hanoi. High-level delegations from foreign countries and international organizations paid their last respects and expressed deep condolences.
At the National Funeral Hall, delegations from Malaysia, Belarus, the Philippines, and the British Communist Party, military leaders, and the public came to pay their respects and express condolences on the passing of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. Over the past 2 days, leaders of many countries have also visited Vietnamese embassies and representative agencies abroad to pay their respects and express condolences at the passing of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. In Cambodia, leaders of the Cambodian People's Party, the government, the National Assembly, the Senate, ministries and branches came to pay their respects to Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. In Japan, Minister of Digital Affairs Taro Kono, representing the Japanese government, and Nachiyo Yamaguchi, chair of the Komeito Party, the ruling coalition, paid their respects and expressed condolences at the passing of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng, a great friend of Japan. In France, representatives of French government, diplomatic agencies, and many overseas Vietnamese paid their respects to Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met with the General Secretary of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party and President of Laos, Thongloun Sisoulith, and his spouse on July 26, when the couple were in Hanoi to attend the state funeral of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. The meeting saw the Prime Minister expressing gratitude to the party, state, and people of Laos, as well as to General Secretary Sisoulith and his spouse in particular, for their condolences given to the party, state, and people of Vietnam over the passing of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. The Lao General Secretary noted that the passing of the Vietnamese leader represents a great loss not only to the party, state, and people of Vietnam, but also to Laotian counterparts. Laos always remembers the great, important, and valuable contributions made by Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng in consolidating and nurturing the great friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive ties between the two countries, party, states, and people over recent times. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính on Friday hosted a reception for Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister Fadila Yusof, minister attached to the Thai Prime Minister's office, and the Thai Prime Minister's Special Envoy Jakapong Samani, who were in Vietnam to pay their last respects to Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính thanked the Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister for coming to Vietnam to pay tribute and share the sadness of the family of the Vietnamese party chief, describing the gesture as a vivid demonstration of the strategic partnership and close friendship between the leaders and people of both nations. The Malaysian leader expressed his admiration for Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng tireless devotion and great contributions to Vietnam's construction and development over the past decades. The two sides discussed and reached a consensus on several orientations to bolster the bilateral relations. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính expressed his deep gratitude to the Thai leaders for their condolence messages, affirming that Vietnam highly appreciates the warm sentiments from the Thai royal family, government, and people towards Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng, who devoted his whole life to the country's development and laid a solid foundation for the Vietnam-Thailand strategic partnership in June 2013. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính took this occasion to reiterate his invitation to Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin to visit Vietnam and co-chair the 4th Vietnam-Thailand Joint Cabinet meeting at a suitable time. National Assembly Chair Trần Thanh Mẫn hosted receptions in Hanoi for the President of the Cambodian People's Party and President of the Cambodian Senate Hun Sen, and Vice Chair of the Council of the Republic Senate of Belarus Siarhea Kamenka, who came to attend the state funeral of Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. Receiving the Cambodian People's Party CPP and President of the Cambodian Senate Hun Sen, The National Assembly Chair Trần Thanh Mẫn thanked the King and Cambodian leaders for sending their condolences and a high-ranking delegation to attend the memorial ceremony to express their special affection for Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng and his family. Hosting the reception for the Belarusian delegation, he said that Vietnam will continue to promote the foreign policy set forward by Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng, which consistently values and develops friendship and cooperation with traditional friends, including Belarus. In particular, he affirmed that the Vietnamese National Assembly will continue implementing the cooperation agreement between the two parliaments signed in April 2009 during Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng visit to Belarus. Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam unveils new method in locating and collecting martyrs' remains. And let's see how young overseas Vietnamese preserve the Vietnamese language. Local authorities and functional forces are continuing to support people in Mai Châu Commune, Thuận Châu District, Sơn La Province, in overcoming the flood's consequences. Many people travel almost 100 kilometers to offer their help. More in the following story.
Hearing that Nhục Duy town was severely affected by the flood, Hương decided to ride a motorbike more than 80 kilometers from the center of Mai Sơn district. She hoped to help the people there. But when she arrived, the whole village was devastated by the flood.
If I can't help with money, I'll help with my strength.
With the motto 4 on the spot, in Thuận Châu and Mai Sơn districts, everyone joined forces to help the families affected by the flood. Nearly 400 police officers and soldiers were mobilized to search for, rescue and help people.
Natural disasters have greatly affected the people's lives. We help the people here as if we were helping our own families. We consider this to be the duty of soldiers in peacetime.
We will mobilize support forces to help each village and reopen roads between villages.
Many communes in this locality's flooded area are far from the center. For example, Trường Nôi commune is nearly 100 kilometers from Mai Sơn district. However, people from other communes willingly give up their work to help locals recover from the flood.
Authorities in the southern province of Bình Phước held a ceremony on July 26 at the province's Martyrs ceremony, the cemetery, to rebury the remains of 106 experts and soldiers who died in Cambodia. After 2 phases of searching, the Provincial Military Command's Team K-72, which is responsible for repatriating the remains of the Vietnamese soldiers in Cambodia, collected 94 remains and a further 10 remains in the Cambodian provinces of Karate and Kampong Thom. The team also recovered 2 remains in the Hon Quang district. Now, although the war has been over for nearly half a century, according to data from the Ministry of National Defense, there are still nearly 200,000 martyrs whose remains have not been found nationwide. Over the past many years, the party, the state, and all levels of government have paid special attention to and promoted the search and collection of martyrs' remains. However, this work still faces many difficulties since traces of most battlefields have been erased completely. to search for the remains of Vietnamese martyrs buried by the U.S. military in mass graves. A groundbreaking research method has been developed and applied by a research team consisting of members from both Vietnam and the United States, initially bringing about significant results.
Vic Bridge Hamlet, Châu Thành District, Tây Ninh Province was the location of a fierce battle in 1969. According to witnesses, here lies a mass grave that buried more than 300 Vietnamese martyrs.
We can be sure that the grave is located right where I am standing, between the garden and this road.
The new analysis method is based on exploiting reconnaissance satellite images. Along with the American veterans, the research team of the Vietnam Martyr Families Support Association used complex algorithms to match initial witness-provided images, then comparing landmarks to pinpoint the area for focused search efforts.
This task requires meticulous work. Finally, when overlaying the latest satellite images, we can identify the exact position corresponding to structures or landmarks on the ground.
Without a doubt, one of the larger graves that I've been personally involved in trying to locate. And also being able to get this information back to these two veterans that were involved in the burial detail. It's a very emotional thing for them too.
During the 2017 search at Bien Hoa Air Base, the Dong Nai Provincial Military Command had to search for more than a month before successfully collecting the remains of Vietnamese martyrs. However, since successfully developing this research method, the team has provided valuable information to help shorten the time and successfully collect the remains of hundreds of martyrs at Tây Ninh, Bình Định, and Bình Dương.
We think this can be a game changer in terms of finding many more grave sites than were known before. It's the basis for building trust and understanding among our countries and people.
Currently, the research team has built 20 record dossiers on search locations for mass graves of Vietnamese martyrs in the provinces of Bình Phước, Bình Dương, Dong Nai, and Tây Ninh. This is an important step forward to soon bring the remains of martyrs back to their families and comrades.
The richness of culture and depth of history are not merely conveyed through relics, heritage, or events, but are also embodied in language. Vietnamese language serves not just as a means of communication, but as a vital link between generations, steeped in national values. This language is upheld by Vietnamese communities worldwide, contributing significantly to the preservation of Vietnamese identity.
Nguyen Nam Khanh, currently living in Pakistan, uses literature as a means to preserve and promote the Vietnamese language, its mother tongue.
I have a great fondness for Vietnamese literature. Upon discovering articles about the tale of Theo published in various languages, I sought out an English version to share Vietnamese culture and literature with people in Pakistan.
Khanh promotes Vietnamese culture by teaching his friends the Vietnamese language through the names of traditional dishes. In contrast, Nguyen focuses on preserving the language by engaging in teaching activities in Malaysia with her mother.
I assist my mother in the Vietnamese club, where we help children studying and living abroad learn Vietnamese. Over time, their proficiency in Vietnamese improves significantly, enabling them to communicate effectively with their families upon returning to Vietnam.
Preserving the language not only helps young overseas Vietnamese maintain their Vietnamese identity and connect with their roots, but also serves as a tool to strengthen their support for the Vietnamese community abroad.
I've been involved in promoting Vietnamese cuisine, helping with translations, and demonstrating how to wrap bánh tráng. I also supported fellow Vietnamese during the recent Mary Wilska fire by assisting with lost documents.
Vietnamese is now widely spoken in many places, including its recent recognition as an official language in San Francisco, USA. providing a crucial opportunity for overseas Vietnamese youth to hold the language.
Upon hearing the news, I felt a deep sense of pride. It signifies recognition of the Vietnamese community in the U.S. and reaffirms our Vietnamese identity there. I am truly happy about this.
Even though they live and study far from home, young overseas Vietnamese maintain their connection to their roots through the Vietnamese language, expressing their love for their homeland.
Mỗi sớm dậy nghe bốn bề thân thiết, người qua đường chung tiếng Việt cùng tôi, như vị muối chung lòng biển mặn, như dòng sông thương mến chảy muôn đời.
Coming up next in our world news. Russia and China agree to step up cooperation for ASEAN stability and prosperity. And Russia ready to negotiate with Ukraine. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Thursday met on the sidelines of the 57th Association of Southeast Asian Nations Foreign Ministers meeting and related meetings taking place in Laos. Now, during their talks, Wang Yi stressed that China and Russia are ASEAN's dialogue partners. Beijing is willing to work with Moscow to maintain an open and inclusive regional cooperation structure with ASEAN to promote the region's peace, stability, and prosperity. Now, for his part, Lavrov said that Russia will work with China to promote ASEAN's central role and prevent external interference in the region's affairs while contributing to the region's well-being and prosperity. The Kremlin said on Thursday that it is open to negotiations with Ukraine to end the conflict. Asked by reporters whether Russia is ready to negotiate with Ukraine while President Zelensky is still in power, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Russia is generally open to negotiations. But first, it is necessary to understand how ready Ukraine is for this and whether it will be allowed. Russia has repeatedly affirmed that it is always open to negotiations with Kiev, but on the condition that Ukraine must accept the current situation, including recognizing the territories in the east that Russia has merged. On July 24th, during a visit to China, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said that Ukraine is preparing for negotiations with Russia. The EU and Singapore on Thursday concluded negotiations on their digital trade agreement. This deal is the first EU agreement of its kind, reflecting the EU's aspiration to be a global standard setter for digital trade rules and cross-border data flows. The agreement is expected to provide binding rules that build consumers' trust, ensure predictability and legal certainty for businesses, and prevent the emergence of unjustified barriers to digital trade. Now, by 2022, 55% of the total value of the EU's trade in services and trade with external partners was conducted digitally and worth more than $1.4 trillion. Meanwhile, Singapore's value reached $46 billion, equivalent to more than half of the total bilateral trade value. Now let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.